Hey, this is Ann Teachruth with Trunamics, and this is how to be slouch-proof. All right, guys, well, you may have heard that sitting is the new smoking. What? Really what that's about is sedentary lifestyle. It has been shown can definitely just kind of knock the years off. It's sort of scary, but it makes sense if you imagine it. So go ahead and slouch a bit. Where do you find yourself sitting mostly? Can't cross it the other way, it feels awkward. But you probably have a comfortable pattern, right? So where you sit back on your hips, or if you're sort of slouching more like this at the computer, on your phone, hunched like that, you probably have a pattern. But notice when you're like that, it's sort of hard to do a few things that are super important. Like one, breathe, right? We need to be able to breathe. That's constricting the diaphragm, constricting the expansion of the rib cage. Also, it's probably, given your neck posture, constricting blood flow to the head, which is where the brain is. We want to be slouch-proof, right? But if we look at common postural cues, like what do we hear? Okay, sit up straight, shoulders back, squeeze the abs, tuck the tail, I don't know, whatever it is people say, chin down in order to accomplish a good posture. If you go ahead and try that right now, it's kind of uncomfortable, right? I mean, I have tension here, I have tension between my shoulder blades, in my lower back, tension in my hips. Like, I'm not gonna be able to hold that position very long. So, what can we do to help ourselves be slouch-proof? Well, let's see if we can use any sort of anatomical embodiment and some imagery to make it easy to sit nice and tall. The sternum, which is what the ribs attach through these cartilage bits here. And these are actual joints. There is movement here in these chondrosternal joints. And there are also joints in the sternum. It's actually 3 different bones, the manubrium, the sternum, and the xiphoid. So let's just hold our sternum here. We could actually tap it a bit, also called the breastbone or the breastplate, right there in the middle. So we want to tap, could start moving it through space. So you could move the sternum forward, move the sternum back. We'll do that twice. You can move the sternum to the sides. We're just kind of initiating movement from the sternum. We could even rotate the sternum, swinging it around the spine, maybe you could picture. We could also, since the sternum has 3 different bones, we could think of almost like wringing out the sternum. So moving the bottom in one direction, the top in the other. And then we could reverse that, kind of a little spiral, that's fun. Just getting some movement through there. And we also want to do some lateral flexion, moving side to side. So really thinking about the sternum there and the spine. And then we could do sternum lifting and a little rounding and sternum lifting. Thinking about like if there's a light shining out from the sternum, it's shining up towards the sky and then shining down and shining the light up. Good. Okay, hands down. Let's just check in and see, how are we doing? So you may notice already that the chest is a little bit more lifted and open. You may feel the weight come back a bit, so it's easier to be on your sits bones and have the pelvis in an upright position. So already it feels more natural for me to be sitting up easily, comfortably. No superficial muscles are needed in order to hold me up, rather than slouching. Like that actually feels a little less comfortable now. So we've done a little bit. Let's do one more thing. We're going to look at our subclavius muscles. So those are right here under the clavicle. So we'll go and pinch along the clavicle there. And if you just kind of rub right underneath there, that muscle might even be a little bit tender. You know, we're often in this kind of hunched position. So you're just gonna rub that muscle, get a little information in there. And then we're just gonna do some reaching as we brush in the same direction. So brush out and brush in along the muscle and reach in. Brush out and reach, and we'll brush in and reach, and brush out and reach. Are you breathing? Brush in and reach. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Good. A little rub under there, and a little shoulder roll. Nice, good. So you could compare sides. Now, if you take a breath, you may notice that you have more breath in this lung. The lungs actually come all the way up here. So we've loosened that up, freed that up. So not only is it easier to sit up, the shoulders are relaxed down and back, we're also gonna get a fuller breath here. So let's do the other side. Rubbing under the bone there. You could pinch along the clavicle, kind of bring it forward. Yeah. Really good for releasing the shoulders and the neck. And then we'll rub underneath, see if you can find a little tender spot. And we'll reach and glide the hand, reach and glide the hand, reach and glide the hand out towards the fingers, and then gliding in towards the sternum. Inhale and exhale. And we'll do one more. Inhale and exhale. Nice little rub. You could just let the shoulder kind of float around while you do that. Good. So you should notice now that it actually feels quite easy to sit up straight, and we haven't even looked at the pelvis and the hips. There's tons we can do for that, but this is just an easy little tip during the day. So you might not go do all of this in the office, but what you could do if you're sitting at a desk is you could just think about your sternum. You tap your sternum, think about your sternum lifting and lifting, and you definitely could just brush out through these muscles. And what we're going for is to have a nice relaxed upward posture that is not using tension in the back, in the superficial muscles of the abs in order to hold us up, because we want those muscles to be freed up for breathing and movement, and we don't need added tension and stress in our life, right? All right, so enjoy. This is how we use Franklin methods so that you can move better and think better and live better. And I hope to see you in one of our classes or workshops soon. Bye.